The incredible 2011 drama, comedy, and biography film, The Untouchables, explores the significance of friendship, which is based on a true story. In the beginning of the movie, we see Driss driving his boss late at night through Paris. Driss stops the car in a row behind other cars at a traffic signal. Driss dislikes waiting. Ignoring the signs, he takes the car to the left and breaks speed limits, which captures the attention of police who begin chasing their car. Driss vs bets €100 to escape. Both Philippe and Driss don't look worried. After driving under the bridge, the police catch them and block their car from front and back. The cop asks Driss to get out of the car. Before Driss comes out, he raises the bet to €200 to get them an escort. Philippe says you would lose again. Driss comes out of the car, and the cop overturns him on the car to handcuff him. When police ask Philippe to come out, Driss tells them he is handicapped, and his wheelchair is in the car trunk. Driss gets angry at cops claiming that he is taking him to the hospital for treatment of epilepsy. After confirming the proof of the wheelchair as the cop reaches Philippe, he sees Philippe convulsing. Seeing this is an emergency, the police offer Driss an escort on his way to the hospital. Driss cleans up Philippe's mouth, saying that this is dirty and that nobody can do this. Both laugh and share jokes, enjoying escorts. Driss plays September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. After arriving at the hospital, both share a smoke as soon as the cops are gone, after calling the hospital staff. Before the hospital staff arrive, Driss drives away. This friendship started many months ago at Philippe's luxurious house during a job interview to find a caregiver for Philippe, which was conducted by Philippe and his assistant, Magali. Among many others, Driss is also presented for a job interview. All applicants are well-educated and have their own standards, and they repeat traditional answers about their experience, work, and motivation for this job, which seems awkward, and they fail to attract Philippe. Driss storms in, saying that he cannot wait any longer. Driss puts a paper on the table, saying that he only needs signatures. Magali asks for references. He calls names of musical bands like Cool and Gang and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Magali looks back at Philippe, who replies to Driss that he does not recognize them. So sit here. Driss says that you are ignorant about music. Driss sits in here, both argue with each other about music and musicians. Philippe takes an interest in Driss. Philippe asks, do you need signatures? Driss explains that he has been rejected 2 times, and this is the last. Give me signatures so that I can take unemployment benefits. Driss flirts with Magali when Philippe asks about his motivation, to which he answers that your secretary is motivation for him. Philippe says that he cannot give signatures now, and he asks him to come back tomorrow at 9 o'clock for his signed papers. Then Driss leaves for home. Driss returns home. As he takes a bath, his siblings bother him. Mina, his sister, assists him in finishing it in time. Here, looking through the window, he notices his brother Adama, who comes out of a suspicious car. Adama enters the apartment, saying that he was at school, and he leaves after grabbing his bag. In the evening, Fatou, who adopted Driss, arrives home, and Driss gives her a Faberge egg he stole from Philippe's house. Fatou is disappointed because he has been missing for months and has never called once, so she kicks him out, saying that she has to take care of other children. Driss leaves home and spends the night with his neighboring friends, sharing smoke and snacks. The next day, Driss reaches Philippe's home. Yvonne, a housekeeper, shows him around the place and briefs him on Philippe's daily routine. Yvonne shows Driss the luxurious room where he would live. Then Driss meets Philippe, who offers Driss both the signatures on paper and a job opportunity. Driss accepts a 1-month trial. Philippe bets that you will not stay more than 2 weeks. Driss is taught how to take care of Philippe, like how to put him in a wheelchair, how to keep his legs stimulated, how to shower him, and how to change his clothes. Driss gets awkward when he is told to put on some stockings on Philippe's leg, but he is offended knowing that he would have to clean his buttocks after Philippe uses the bathroom. Driss says he does not clean others' butts, but he does not leave this job. Later at night, while enjoying snacks on the roof, Driss realizes the love affair between Philippe's daughter Elisa and Bastien when they get on the roof, and Driss interrupts. Driss quickly gets used to Philippe's daily routine. At first, he makes some mistakes like hanging the phone on Philippe instead of putting it on his ears or forgetting the baby monitor while having a bath. But he learns as the days pass. He learns how to organize mail in folder. But there are a series of private letters he is not allowed to check. When Driss finds a pamphlet promising female escorts, he decides to start a file against Philippe's advice to put these in the trash. He takes every opportunity to enjoy life and takes every advantage of this job. He flirts with Magali. Sometimes he calls female escorts to join him in bed. One day, Yvonne visits his room and scolds him for being late. This day, Driss is asked to drive Philippe around. He refuses to put him on the back of the van. He gets Philippe into a fancy car. Philippe says that we would have to be practical with this car. Driss ignores Philippe, and as he starts driving, he drifts the car, which Philippe and Driss both enjoy. Leaving the building, Driss finds a car on the way. He reaches the car, drags the man out of it, and shows him no parking signboard. And during this, Philippe utters that this is the right way to deal. Both go to the museum. Philippe thinks of buying a painting, but Driss interrupts and asks what kind of painting this is. Just a red blotch on the canvas, Driss says. I can make a better piece, he mocks. Like the first day's meeting, both argue with each other about art and life. Philippe does not buy it. After it, Philippe meets his relative Antoine. Antoine tells Philippe about the criminal record of Driss, showing his concerns that he can be violent at any time. But Philippe does not take it seriously. Philippe says that he is happy and comfortable with Driss. Again, after flirting with Magali, he joins Yvonne for dinner. Here he asks about Philip's private life. Yvonne says that he shares love letters with Eleanor but has never met her. Driss also asks about Yvonne's own private life, mentioning their gardener. He starts weary talks. That night, Driss hears a voice from the baby monitor. As he reaches to check on Philippe, he finds Philippe with a heavy, troubling breath. He uses a wet cloth to wipe his face. Philippe eventually feels better and gets asleep. But moments later, Philippe wakes up again, facing the same trouble. Driss brings him out in a wheelchair for a stroll by the river. After a long time, Philippe has seen Paris at night. Philippe is relieved now. He reveals that sometimes he experiences phantom pain. When some young girls appear there, Driss asks Philippe about pleasure, to which Philippe answers that he is not capable of pleasuring a woman from the neck to the nails because of his situation, but he is still enjoying this. Both share cigarettes. They get into a restaurant and joke around while sharing a meal. Here, Philippe shares the story of his wife and marriage. He reveals that after marriage, she was diagnosed with an incurable, terminal illness that caused 5 miscarriages, which led them to adopt Elisa. Philippe also discloses that he loved paragliding, which brought him into this situation because once bad weather led to the crash and broke his vertebrae. Philippe expresses that his real handicap is not a wheelchair but living without his beloved wife. Philippe remembers that the 1-month trial is over, and he tells Driss that you are now officially hired. But before starting his job, Philippe asks Driss to bring back the Fabergé egg he stole because it was a gift from his wife. He tells Driss that she used to give him 1 Fabergé egg every year, and he has 25 matching their time together. The next day when Mina is leaving school, Driss reaches her and asks to find the Fabergé egg. Mania is offended because Driss has not been answering their messages. She tells him about cops visiting their home. Driss visits Adama at the police station, who has been charged with 30 grams of drugs. As Driss brings Adama out of the police station, he refuses to have lunch with Driss, and he again gets into the same suspicious car, which Driss has noticed many times. Driss later receives a permanent position. Philippe dictates letters to Magali for Eleanor. Driss comes to know that they have never exchanged pictures, so ignoring the privacy, he reads a letter and finds a number in it. Without wasting time, he makes Eleanor a phone call on his own. He insists on Philippe talking to her. He asks him to get into the real world. The conversation went well. Philippe starts talking to her on the phone all the time. Driss convinces Philippe to exchange pictures with Eleanor, and he chooses a picture of Philippe in a wheelchair. Elisa rushes into Driss's room to ask for a cigarette. Here, as she finds Driss making a painting, she makes fun of his art. He gets angry and runs to complain to Philippe, who is sitting with Yvonne deciding what picture to send Eleanor. They are seen choosing a picture when Philippe was not handicapped. Driss enters and asks Philippe to teach her daughter some ethics. Yvonne also agrees with this, but Philippe is surprised, knowing that Driss has been painting. Days pass, and both continue enjoying life by going out for walks, visiting beautiful places, and joking around. Philippe also talks to his daughter about her bad attitude, and Driss listens to this through a baby monitor. After completing his painting, Driss shows it to Magali, and she slaps him as he tries to kiss her. When Philip is shown the painting, he likes it and promises to sell it. They arrange a birthday party on Philippe's birthday, despite Philippe thinking it'll all be quite boring. Philippe invites all his relatives. The party starts. Philippe and his relatives enjoy classical music, and Driss leaves to find Elisa, who is in his room after taking Yvonne's pills, which do not kill her as she expected because her boyfriend has left her and he humiliated her. Now she asks Driss to bring him before her to apologize, which he agrees to do for the money. Philippe convinces Antoine to buy Driss's painting for 11,000 euros. Yvonne tells Driss about Magali's relationships. As the party comes to an end, Driss plays Boogie Wonderland by Earth and Wind. As he starts dancing, the rest of the party join him, which Philippe enjoyed a lot. Later, Driss opens Eleanor's latest letter and shows Philippe the picture Eleanor sent him. He asks him to meet her next week when she comes to Paris. When the moment comes, Driss and Yvonne find the perfect outfit for Philippe after trying everything. Yvonne brings Philippe to the date, and Driss catches Bastien. Driss threatens him and asks Bastien to apologize to Elisa. Driss visits his mother at work. He only watches her from the window. Eleanor is late. After waiting a lot, Philippe gives up and calls Driss to bring him home. As they leave, Eleanor arrives, but both do not notice. Philippe brings Driss on his private plane and gives him the money he got from sailing his painting. The next day, Philippe decides to go paragliding. He brings Driss to join him for paragliding. Driss does not want to do it, but cannot resist. Both enjoy it a lot. After reaching home, Adama is seen waiting for Driss. Both share a verbal fight and Driss asks him to wait. Driss goes to put Philippe to bed, but he says that he is not sleepy yet. Philippe asks Driss about his family. Driss says that Adama is not his brother. Her aunt adopted them both, along with many others. He discloses that before his aunt was able to conceive, her husband died and there were more men and more kids. Philippe fires Driss from his job, saying that Adama needs discipline as Elisa did. He asks Driss to take care of his family. As Driss gets ready to go, Maglai introduces her girlfriend Fred to Driss, which reveals that both are lesbian. Driss leaves. He meets the person who parks his car in front of Philippe's home. Again, he threatens him. He reaches home, and the next day he deals with a suspicious man and threatens him. He applies and gets a driving job. On the other side, Philippe hires another man, but he is bored and cannot adjust himself to this new caregiver. Even he refuses to take help for his phantom pain. As his condition gets worse, Ivane calls Driss. Driss brings him into the car for a long drive. This is the situation where the film begins. The next day, Driss brings Philippe to the coast. Philippe feels good and he calms down. Trying different styles and making fun, Driss shaves him before bringing him to the restaurant. Driss and Philippe are at the restaurant, but Driss does not stay. He leaves saying that someone is coming to join him and returns his egg. Philippe is surprised when Eleanor appears. She accepts Philippe's miserable condition. This is how a movie meets its ends. In the end, some scenes show real characters on which the movie is based. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos.